I'm back in the shop today. Today I think I'm going to work on getting the final placement of the cab, the front, the hood, see if I can get some space in here, moving the cab relative to the frame, then ultimately trying to get a good read on where I'm going to shorten this frame up and how I'm going to do it. So I think I'm going to work with moving the cab forward and backwards. I want to still keep the wheels centered within the arch of the fender. I don't know what I'm going to have to do there, but I'll work on it. I've got these pieces of 1x2 that I'm going to try to slide underneath the cab to space it up from the frame rail to try to imitate what it'd be like if it sat on body mounts underneath here. I got the wood block spacers underneath the cab now, holding the cab up about 3/4 of an inch. And now I'll see if I can just open up the rest of this doghouse. And then probably while I'm at it, I'll finish taking out all the rest of this old wiring just to kind of clean this cab up a little bit. Here we go. Alright, so I got most of the wiring out of the inside. A lot of it was just old. It's not, well, I wouldn't reuse it. A lot of it was shortened on the frame and the insulation was just junk. So I'm just pulling it all out because I'll have to rewire the whole thing anyways. But got this open. This is the rest of the space. Back up a little bit. From, I guess you'd call this the doghouse, or I don't know. Anyways, it might give me another inch or so in there, but I don't really want to put that part of the engine block in the cab if I can help it. But I'll see if I can work on getting some more room in the engine bay in the front here. I think the real elephant in the room here is this mechanical fan. It just takes up all the space. I don't run one on my Jeep because these things hardly run hot unless you're working them. So I'm going to pull it off just for the sake of mocking this up and getting some radiator space in here. If I do find that I need it, then I'll put an electric fan on there, and then that just takes the struggle's real. I put a strap around that right to the anti-sway bar there. Got it tight. Tried pretty much everything, but what got it off was the air chisel after, I don't know, probably about 30 seconds of ripping on it. Anyways, glad it's off. So I got a little space to put the grille on, and I'm trying to level up the sides. And there's a little bit of an interference fit here where the radiator mount will go. But I'm gonna try to fit the radiator mount in here, and then see what we need to cut away before I get started on mocking this up. I got the cab centered left to right. It's about 8 3/4 off the frame rail, and then I squared it up in the back here. Just with a framing square. So I'm thinking she's pretty close as far as where I want it to sit on the frame. And it's square here to the back of the valve cover. Not a lot of space, but so I bolted the hood down and got a lot of this stuff sorted out as far as where it's going to sit, how high it's going to sit, and I even went as far as just temporarily hanging this fender on the outside. And from looking at it straight up and down, looks like I'm going to be about 3 inches, but I'm intending on putting some wider tires on, a little bit taller. These are 31s. I think I'm going to go to probably a 37-inch tire, but it'll make this tire much wider overall. As far as the fitment, she's pretty close to being in the center, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it's just being, the fender's just kind of being held up with that floor jack there. So I've been putting this off for a long time now, but I think I'm finally gonna tackle shortening this frame. It's not easy. It's not even straightforward because it goes from about a 7-inch frame over here to a much larger spot, and then it dips down, and then it goes into a box frame, which turns out that's been doubled, and it's capped, and it tapers, and it goes on and on and on. So I don't know, maybe I'll get closer here. Maybe I'll cut this all out. So I guess I probably should have explained myself before all this time lapse, but the joys of working on a vehicle that you haven't done before is you kind of don't know what you're doing until you're in the middle of it. So to recap what happened, I think what happened is I pulled all the wires out the back, pulled the gas lines or the diesel lines forward so they're out of the way. I got them bundled up down there, and then I just started cleaning the frame. Saw a lot of, as you probably saw, I was pulling out a lot of rust. I have this air chisel here that I was using as a needle scaler because my air compressor is not very strong, so it wasn't like beating the hell out of the frame. It was just kind of poking away at it and stuff was chipping off. Made the job a lot easier than this twisted wire wheel here. A lot less work, and even though it's loud as hell, the ear protection goes a long way. Anyways, took this cross member off. It wasn't really going to help me at all, and so I come around here, and this is the part of the old frame here. Well, it's all the old frame, but there's a connection here where this side of the frame connects into this side, and it's held in with these rivets here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it's welded across here. And what I'm going to do eventually is knock all these rivets out, take this cross member width and this hanger, and then I'm going to cut 26 3/4 inches out, which I've marked here. And then, so then this will come off all the way to here. And then I'll take this part, which is stuffed in here to about there, and I'm going to run it down here, and it'll match up about 10 inches farther. And then to get a better view from the inside, this is the part that's going to move forward. This part's going to get blown away. And I did notice after I cleaned this up that this frame will probably connect right here or sit on it. So I'll be able to use this part of the frame now. And then I will probably put a 2x2 piece of square tubing under here to fill this up and support it. It's still pretty dusty in here, and it goes without saying that you should be wearing a respirator to do all this. A lot of rust flying around, and it's not good for you. So, you know, just be safe, and I'll pick this up probably tomorrow.